In this video, you will see what can be experienced with 3 days in Milan. For us, it was the first city in our dream trip to Italy. We'll begin this video with an overview of everything we did, and then go into detail about each location and offer a deeper look into the experience. Subscribe to this channel for other videos with instructions for buying tickets and planning your dream trip to Italy. I will split each section into timestamped chapters so that you can easily skip to exactly what you're looking for. Here we go!
Duomo di Milano is basically at the center of the city, and if you travel to Milan, it's kind of hard to miss. In this video you will see the outside, inside, the rooftop terraces, and down below in the archaeological area. Right next to the Duomo is the famous shopping area of Milan, known as Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II, where you can watch many people spin in circles for good luck and take selfies. There is also an abundance of luxury clothing stores, historic restaurants, and art galleries. Standing outside of the Galleria is a beautiful statue of Leonardo da Vinci. And on the opposite side of the square you will find the world-famous opera house, Teatro, alla Scala, which was integral in the shaping of modern-day opera. Another popular site in Milan is the Sforzesco Castle. You can pay for admission if you want to go in, or you can just admire the castle grounds and the beautiful fountain to take a rest from your walk. If you have even the smallest interest in historical art, or even a curiosity for Leonardo da Vinci, the Ambrosian Library is a must. Adjacent to the library's exit is the entrance to the Crypt of San Sepolcro, the lower level of a 1,000-year-old church. Of course, for one of the most famous attractions in all of Milan, head to the Santa Maria della Grazia Church to view Da Vinci's The Last Supper. Speaking of supper, we will feature just a few of the amazing restaurants, bakeries, and coffee shops in Milan, including Osteria da Fortunata, Gloria, Princi, Lavazza, GustaMi, and eCooking. Oh, and we took a pleasant train ride to the gorgeous town of Como on the second day.
Let's begin with the main attraction. Duomo di Milano is the third largest church in the world and is over 600 years old. It is absolutely magnificent, and you can easily slow down at the famous piazza and walk around to admire the outside and the beautiful details on the portals for free. But for a very reasonable price, you can purchase one of the several ticket packages that allow you to experience all parts of the Duomo, and more. We liked the package entitled Combo Stairs and Pinacoteca Ambrosiana, which is the biggest bang for your buck, and it's the one we chose for our honeymoon. This package gives access to walk inside the church, the stairs up to the rooftop terraces, to the Cathedral Museum and the Church of San Gottardo, as well as the Ambrosian Library and Crypt of San Sepolcro. Getting this ticket package is the perfect and affordable intro to your first stay in Milan. Before you purchase tickets, check out my ultimate ticket buying guide for the Duomo. I break down a lot of the important details that are not particularly obvious so that you can show up with confidence knowing exactly what to do.
The outside of the Duomo is absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful city fixture that you'll certainly view many times as you're walking to various destinations while in Milan. The Duomo also features a large piazza with a statue of Vittorio Emanuele II, from which you can see the Galleria that is named after him. While the Duomo is a marvel from a distance, you should definitely find a time when the crowds die down to get a close look at the ornate portals. Here, you can see that the more prominent religious figures and scenes have been worn, indicating that people often come up and touch them. These scenes are so detailed that you can spend quite a lot of time studying each one.
Upon entering the Duomo, the first thing that grabbed my attention was the sheer size of the columns. Looking up, the Duomo architecture and materials themselves are awe-inspiring and captivating. Once you get a chance to find your feet again and look around, you'll see that it houses equally significant articles of history and beauty. Everything in this place is breathtaking. Some of these items include a baptismal bathtub made of porphyry, which is a luxurious purple igneous rock from Egypt. There are several religious statues, sarcophagi of Milanese royalty, ornate stained glass windows, and to my surprise, a meridian line that measures solar noon at an accuracy of within 2 seconds. It is still an active church, so there are also confessional booths, votive tables where patrons are free to light prayer candles, and the largest pipe organ in all of Italy. And don't forget to look up at the ceiling above the altar for the red light. This marks where they keep the Santo Chiodo, which is said to be one of the nails used in the crucifixion of Christ.
To get to the terraces, there is an exit from inside the church that guides you outside and around to a side entrance, where you begin the ascent up several flights of spiraling stairs. Every step is worth it, because what awaits you is perhaps the most impressive part of the Duomo. There are over 3,400 statues adorning the cathedral, and very few of them are identical. These statues are the images of saints and angels, along with gargoyles and giants. It is said to have the greatest number of statues of any building in the world. The terraces will also allow you to get a peek of the Madonnina, which is a gold statue of the Virgin Mary that sits atop the central spire. There seemed to be no time limit on how long you could stay in the area, so you are welcome to explore at your leisure. But note that there are lines to get in and out, so if you want to leave, it may take a while. Once you walk across the terraces, you'll head down another staircase to return to the sanctuary inside the Duomo.
You can access the archaeological area from inside the Duomo. There is a little staircase towards the front entrance that leads down to another ticket area. The archaeological area is really quite astounding, with some of the remnants dating back to the 4th century AD. The most prominent feature is an octagonal shape in the floor, which is said to be the very place where St. Ambrose baptized St. Augustine. Surprisingly, there are several tombs and small ancient artifacts such as tile pieces, coins, and cups, all from the baptistry and basilicas on the same site that predate Duomo di Milano.
For your first time in Milan, I would suggest taking in all of this marvel that you can. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful. It's important to note that you don't have to see all of the features of your ticket package in a single day, as the tickets allow access to all features over a 3-day span. We went straight to the terraces on the first day of our trip, then returned the second day to enjoy the other parts of the Duomo.
If you would like to see and learn more about this cathedral, check out our other video entitled A Detailed Look at Duomo di Milano, where I cover the details of its art, history, and architecture.
Just north of the Duomo is the very famous Galleria Vittorio Emanuele II. It is a beautiful covered street that connects the two most famous sites in Milan, the Duomo and the Scala Theatre. It has a long history as a social center with vendors and restaurants, and now also houses famous couture fashion stores and a hotel. Many visitors stop and spin on one area of the mosaic tile floor that represents the 3 capitals of the historic Kingdom of Italy, all for good luck. A trip through may be worth dodging the superstitious spinners and skyward gazers. This covered street is named for the first king of Italy, and the impressive architecture that enclosed it in 1877 was, indeed, fit for a king. The 4 aerial domes are made of cast iron and glass, which was typical for the late 19th century construction. However, the sheer scale and beauty of this gallery set it apart from any other in Europe, and it is the progenitor of all modern-day shopping malls. Unlike some of the surrounding streets that represent a globalized fashion industry, with shops that you can find in any sizable city worldwide, here you will find quintessential couture Italian designers, from Bottega Veneta to Loro Piana. Dip into any of the boutiques to experience the scents, textiles, and luxury for which Italy is known. If you're hungry and want a bite of history, visit Beefy Cafe. It is one of the oldest operating cafes in Milan and was opened by the pastry chef to the king. If you love history, architecture, high fashion, good food, and art, plan to take your time and drop a dime as you stroll through the stunning street.
If you walk straight through the Galleria from the Duomo, you will find yourself in the Piazza della Scala, named after the world-renowned opera house across the street. You will be greeted by the monument to Leonardo da Vinci, a statue that was unveiled in 1872 and features statues of 4 other men that represent Da Vinci's pupils. Behind him is Teatro, alla Scala, where we took in a show on day 3, which we will cover later in this video, but I mention it to you now to point out that these 4 famous sites, the Duomo, Galleria, the Monument to Da Vinci, and La Scala, are all within very close proximity of each other. For our first dinner in Italy, we strolled through the beautiful Brera district on our way to Osteria da Fortunata. We made it to the small restaurant and stood in line outside for about 30 or 40 minutes, and it was absolutely worth the wait. This was everything I was looking for in a traditional Italian food experience. Fortunata has 9 restaurants across Italy, and 3 of them are in Milan. The first location opened in Rome in 1921, and today, every Osteria da Fortunata is run by the family matriarch, a 93-year-old woman called Nonna Iris, who is the great-granddaughter of Fortunata, the woman who founded the first restaurant. A staple of every Fortunata restaurant is the pasta making window, allowing a view into their art and honoring transparency as a part of their identity. This location also has a large window showcasing the kitchen, where you can be well entertained simply by peering through the glass of watching these professionals make their classic Italian dishes. After we were seated, we sipped on an excellent glass of house wine and ordered dinner. We started out with a staple Italian antipasto, mozzarella di bufala, which is mozzarella made from buffalo milk. It's simply a big, perfect ball of the best fresh mozzarella you've ever had. The outer layer is slightly tough and chewy, while the middle is very tender, and all of it is delicious. For our entrees, I ordered gnocchi tossed in a ragu meat sauce. As I was enjoying this meal, I really couldn't believe that I was eating handmade gnocchi in Italy. This was a dream come true. Genevieve had ravioli all'uovo, which is ravioli stuffed with sheep's milk ricotta and a lemon zest with basil, salt, and plenty of butter. It was absolutely fantastic. For dessert, we decided to go for gold, and we found what we consider to be the gold standard of tiramisu. It was a mission for us to try tiramisu at several different restaurants to observe the different takes on this classic Italian dessert. The tiramisu at Fortunata really is the most consistent in flavor, texture, and volume that we found in our entire trip. We even made sure to try it again at the original location in Rome and confirm that it had all of the same qualities of the tiramisu we had at the Fortunata in Milan.
Because we were in Italy and on our honeymoon, we splurged and got a second dessert, torta di ricotta e cioccolato, which translates as ricotta and chocolate cake. This particular ricotta cake is made with sambuca, which is a liquor with an anise or licorice-like flavor. This dessert is the epitome of decadence.
Wow. Intense flavors that are so perfectly balanced. It's so easy to eat and it's intense at the same time. It's wonderful.
If you'd like to learn more about our experience at Osteria da Fortunata, check out our full review on our channel.
Osteria da Fortunata was a wonderful intro to Italian cuisine and wrapped us in a warm hug to conclude our first day in Italy.
At the start of day 2, I was so excited to wake up in Milan that I got up early and set out to explore the pastry world of Italy. I wanted to bring back some beautiful treats to my now wife, Genevieve. I was really looking for a classic maritozzo, but as I searched Google for a bakery within walking distance to the Duomo, I began to learn that Milan does not wake up particularly early. Many shops don't open until 7:30 or 8 a.m. Even after a bakery opens, I found that several items may not be available immediately, and finding a maritozzo became oddly difficult that early in the morning. GustaMi is one of the few bakeries open at 7 a.m. that is close to the Duomo. The server was very kind and happy and greeted me with a smile. I decided to delay the maritozzo hunt to sate another curiosity in trying all of the different filled croissants available at GustaMi.
Will returned with 3 croissants, all with different fillings, as well as a single brioche with a dark chocolate filling. Will got a head start on the chocolate croissant before I woke up. So together, we tried this first one and agreed that it was the beloved hazelnut chocolate spread known as Nutella. It's exceptionally sweet and exactly as you'd expect. We were most eager to try the ubiquitous pistachio-filled croissant, which was the second one we tried. Though you can find pistachio cream in the US, it's not very common, whereas in Italy, there isn't a single pastry shop in the country that doesn't have a pistachio-flavored something, and with good reason. It's creamy, sweet, and the perfect preparation for such a delicious nut. The third croissant was filled with a common pastry cream referred to as crema pasticcera, which is a vanilla-flavored custard that always hits the spot.
It's delicious. Custard. Fantastic.
I also brought back a chocolate-filled brioche. And while the dough conveyed a similar texture and experience to the croissant, the dark chocolate filling was much more mild and savory. We both preferred this to the sweet-forward Nutella filling.
Light, sweet, great chocolate flavor. It's not overly sweet though. It's like a little bit of a smoky chocolate. Doesn't taste artificial at all. Delicious.
After enjoying a sugar-filled honeymoon breakfast, we headed for the train station to meet with our friend in Como, which is only a 40-minute, beautiful train ride away from Milan. Como is an idyllic small town on the gorgeous Lake Como. Upon walking across the street from the train station, you'll find yourself at the top of a beautiful park that looks down into the lake town. At the bottom, a large hand statue makes a cozy seat, inviting a photo op for many. I immediately felt at home in Como, a town that is not too big and not too small, with plenty of beauty and wonderful food. As you stroll through the cobblestone streets, you'll find yourself in a wonderful piazza adorned with statues. Flowers, quality shops, and restaurants abound. Como even has its own Duomo, which is quite impressive in its own right.
We met our local friend at an excellent little lunch spot with outdoor seating and the Italian standard for coffee and cured meats. Will and I both could have this meat plate every day of our lives for lunch and be happy.
So good.
Isn't it so good?
That is.
I was introduced to our friend's favorite coffee, the ginseng, which turned out to be a flavorful and slightly sweet treatment to espresso. After saying farewell, she told us where to find the best gelato in Como. We immediately took a stroll towards the water. We ended up experiencing our first gelato in Italy together.
We caught a train back to Milan, where we purchased tickets to the opera and explored the remaining areas of the Duomo that we missed on day one. After a solid nap, we walked to dinner a little early to see the Sforzesco Castle along the way. We only viewed the front of the castle from the outskirts, and it was still quite a sight. However, this is the part of the video where I have to admit the biggest mistake I made in planning our activities in Milan. There is so much more to see in and around the Sforzesco Castle that we missed, but you shouldn't. Not only is this the primary historical location in Milan where various Milanese royal dynasties ruled and reigned, there's also a beautiful giant park on the backside of the castle, which is completely free to roam. In this park you can also see the Arco della Pace, as well as the Torre Branca, a tower that you can ride an elevator to the top of for an incredible view of the city. But not for free, it will cost you €6. There's a lot here that can be enjoyed for free. However, you can pay a fee to enter the castle itself and view the museums inside, as well as a long-lost Da Vinci mural.
After enjoying views of the castle and its marvelous fountain, we took a stroll through the Brera district on our way to Gloria Osteria for dinner. This restaurant prides itself in its flamboyant interior design, laced with inspiration of Italian glamour and French bohemia from the 1960s. Our waiter was delightfully jovial and confidently boasted that Gloria had the best bread in Milan. It was good enough that I didn't care to argue with the statement. Served with olive oil, This bread was a great warm-up for the decadence to come.
We began the evening with a glass of wine and a classic Italian cocktail known as a Negroni. Gloria has 4 different takes on the Negroni, but I ordered the most traditional one called Il Conte. It's made with Hendrick's Gin, Mancino Vermouth Rosso, Campari, and where it differs from the traditional Negroni is the added olive bitters and green olive garnish. For my entree, I chose Wellington di Rombo. Rombo is the Italian name for a flatfish known as turbot. This fish is in the center of the Wellington, surrounded by a fish cake-like layer wrapped in seaweed and pastry dough, all covered in beurre blanc with trout roe. To be honest, I was impressed with the presentation, but I don't think my palate was prepared for how lightly cooked the fish was, and I am also not used to eating fish eggs. However, I do appreciate the creative take on Wellington. Our second entree was Cappellate e ricotta e spinaci. That is capellati pasta stuffed with ricotta and spinach, covered with Parmesan fondue and spinach cream, then dusted with freshly grated Parmesan.
If you choose to dine at Gloria, plan on ordering dessert. Their dolce is particularly exceptional. This overly decadent dish is a profiterole filled with cool pistachio gelato and warm chocolate, then covered with even more hot, rich chocolate sauce that really takes it over the edge. Every bite pleases the senses with combinations of cool and warm creaminess, rich flavors of pistachio and chocolates, and the fluffy, balancing texture of the profiterole. This dessert is hard to pass up. However, if you can choose only one, you can't miss the icon of Gloria Osteria, their signature Tarte Citron XXL. It begins with a vibrant lemon tart, which is then topped with an absurd amount of sweet, marshmallowy meringue. Despite the drastic difference in volume, the flavor ratio is perfectly balanced. The novelty of this mountainous dessert alone is irresistible to the curious, and its delivery doesn't disappoint. As some may mention, if you eat at Gloria, the bathrooms are an experience all on their own. If you're curious to hear about our surprising bathroom trip that caused us to talk, check out our full Gloria review.
It's worth mentioning that Milan is beautiful at night, and we greatly enjoyed the walk back from dinner to our Airbnb. There are often live musicians playing in the streets, and all of them that we heard were quite good.
If you are an American like me with a diet that is built around protein, Italy's standard pastry and cafe breakfast can be a bit of a shock to your system. At some point, you may find yourself looking for any place that will simply cook you eggs in the morning. That is what led us to eCooking. They do much more than scrambled eggs. The Uova Benedict features eggs prepared in vinegar and water at 64 degrees Celsius, which produces more gelatinous egg whites than the traditional poached egg, and are served atop pane nuvola, which translates as cloud bread, for its light and airy texture. It's also topped with spinach, avocado, Benedict sauce, and beetroot sprouts. Pushing past the traditional espresso, they offer a variety of modern coffee brew methods here. Will opted for the Chemex and accidentally ordered 2 pastries. He said he meant to order only one, but maybe the spirit of Italy was getting to him. As for eCooking, this is a very California experience in the heart of Milan, and the food makes you feel good.
Our substantial breakfast prepared us for a very full day 3 in Milan. Our next stop was the nearby Ambrosian Library, where you can spend several hours looking at its impressive art collection, along with other interesting artifacts and medieval books. Though I could go on and on about the extensive historic art and artifacts at the Ambrosian Library, the main feature is the Codex Atlanticus, which is the largest collection of Leonardo da Vinci's drawings and sketches. These drawings feature rough ideas of mathematics and inventions covering a variety of themes, including war machines, civil architecture, hydraulic pumps, and various instruments for lifting water and harnessing water power. You can also expect to see works from famous Renaissance painters, including Da Vinci himself, as well as Sandro Botticelli, Titian, Raphael, and Caravaggio. In addition to paintings, illuminated books from the 15th century, and unusual artifacts and treasures, there are also some astounding architectural features that are absolutely delightful. If you want to see a lot more of what Ambrosiana has to offer, check out the full video right here on this channel where I also cover how to buy tickets.
Upon exiting the Ambrosian Library gift shop, you will find yourself in a tiny garden, only a few paces from the entrance to the Crypt of San Sepolcro. This crypt is the lower portion of a 1,000-year-old church that was dedicated to the Holy Sepulchre in 1100 AD, just 1 year after Jerusalem was captured at the end of the First Crusade. Though the crypt is dated to 1030 AD, its pillars were part of the earlier Roman Forum that existed 400 years before the church was built. The layers of history are worth seeing in this modest crypt, and it really doesn't take long to tour it. Being so close to the Ambrosian Library, it's a worthwhile stop to add to your itinerary. If you'd like to learn more about the Crypt of San Sepolcro and how to get tickets, we made a much more in-depth video for that too. Touring art galleries and ancient buildings for hours made us quite hungry, and we were on our way to the library when we noticed an impressive-looking bakery. We decided to stop in on our way back and found that Princi is a gold mine for firsts in Italy, and like Fortunata, it boasts a viewing window to the in-house bakery.
I finally found the coveted maritozzo that I was searching for. I also tried my first Roman-style Italian pizza. There are so many incredible items here that it quickly became a favorite of ours. We loved it so much that we decided to stop by again on our 4th day before leaving Milan. If you would like to see everything we had at Princi, including our favorite pastry in Milan, we cover it all in another video on this channel. You can find all reference video links in the description. The next event of the afternoon was the one that originally convinced me that Milan had to be on our honeymoon itinerary. It was seeing Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. CNN regarded this painting as the second most famous painting in the world, and it can be found in the rather unassuming refectory of the Santa Maria della Grazia Basilica. Getting tickets through conventional means at a reasonable price was not something that we could achieve. We had to get our tickets through Viator, which included a tour guide. The tour guide was actually quite informative and added to the experience. We paid $188 for 2 tickets and 15 minutes to gaze upon one of Da Vinci's most recognized works. Though the price was steep compared to locals' pricing, the memory was unforgettable. In fact, everything I have learned about this painting since then has enriched the experience even more. If you would like to learn more about this painting and its tumultuous history with botched restorations, as well as the meaning of this painting, please visit the video where I break down these details that will help you appreciate it all the more and understand how remarkable it is that we have any portion of Leonardo's original work today.
After several hours of seeing the amazing sights of Milan, we decided that we needed to rest before attending the opera. On our way, we avoided the Galleria and all of its busyness. Taking an alternate route led us down a path with a familiar name along it. It was Lavazza's flagship store. I wanted to get a coffee, so we decided to stop inside. The interior is spacious and nice, with plenty of table seating. Since we were on our way to the Scala, we opted for a standing order at the bar, where you can sip and go. Though it is quite common in Italy, the baristas were surprised that it was our preference, as that is the standard way of the locals.
Unlike the locals who order simple espresso, Genevieve ordered a latte and I ordered a creme espresso, which is a specialty drink served at Lavazza. It's basically ice cream and espresso all blended together. I didn't know what I was ordering. I just ordered creme espresso, like cream espresso. This is great.
Milan is home to one of the world's most significant opera houses, Teatro, alla Scala. Purchasing tickets online was a challenge, as our phones did not seem to be compatible with their ticketing system. However, we made a few in-person attempts at the ticket office, and we were able to obtain tickets to see Werther. La Scala has premiered works of some of the most renowned opera composers in history, including Giuseppe Verdi, Gioacchino Rossini, Giacomo Puccini, and has seen some of the most influential performers, such as Maria Callas, Luciano Pavarotti,
Un esercito di prodi da me guidato,
and Placido Domingo.
e gli plaudo dimenti
We were fortunate to have the opportunity to see an exceptional performance in this beautiful and luxurious building that had its first opera in 1778. Prices can be steep for these seats, but we found an affordable way to get a private opera box all to ourselves. If you want to know how we did it, you can check out our video on how to get tickets at La Scala. This performance concluded our final night of a wonderful 3 days in Milan. Even after seeing so many amazing places in this city, there were still several that we did not have time to visit. Here's a short list of what I would prioritize if we were ever to go back. First and foremost, I would see everything I could in and around the Sforzesco Castle. After learning of the royal families and their impact on Milan, I have a much greater appreciation for the castle sites. If you watch some of our other videos, you will hear mention of the Visconti family, the first royal family to occupy the castle. There were also the Sforza family, one of which, named Ludovico, commissioned Da Vinci to paint the Last Supper. This castle also holds a Da Vinci mural that was lost for centuries until being rediscovered in 1893. There is also a beautiful park behind the castle that you can roam for free and visit the Arco de Pace, and maybe even take in the view with the ride up to the top of Torre Branca. One of the things that was on my list to do but didn't seem to fit into our trip was to dine in the Trendy Navili district. This is an area of Milan with many restaurants along the man-made canal that served as the waterway in which the Duomo building materials were transported.
Pinacoteca Brera is an art gallery that holds masterpieces by Raphael, Tintoretto, and Caravaggio, as well as many other artists. There are a great number of paintings in this gallery, and you can get a combined ticket that allows you to tour Palazzo Setterio, which is a beautiful palace filled with even more paintings, primarily from the early 1900s, including a Picasso.
I would love to see Bosco Verticale, a modern architectural marvel that translates as vertical forest. The Bosco Verticale in Milan is a green residential building, a project that contributes to urban biodiversity without expanding the city's footprint. The project consists of 2 residential towers located in the center of Milan.
Will is not sure if he actually wants to see this or not, but I do. And San Bernardino alla Ossa is a wonder worth mentioning. This church in Milan is best known for its side chapel that is ornately decorated with human skeletal remains. This ossuary was built to store bones in 1210 AD, when the nearby cemetery was running out of space. Centuries later, the bones were rearranged to build and decorate the walls.
We are almost finished with all of our Milan videos. Next, we will tackle Bologna and the surrounding Motor Valley area, where we visited the Lamborghini and Ferrari museums, and of course, tried some genuine tagliatelle al ragù, also known as Bolognese, the city's namesake dish. That's it for this video. Please like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.